you had snob appeal. In other words,
Exactly.
you could look at the tie and boom, right at the bottom, it's got the CM, and she introduced that to many sniffs of the snob appeal.
So
And-
After a lot of monograms, just pop up everywhere.
Oh,
Monograms on anything, anywhere.
Why don't you show
So,
us the
yeah, but
Tina
it's
Lesser? 'Cause
more-
she was famous.
More than the concept of a monogram, this is more like an early corporate logo for the designer, like the Bill Blass thing.
Yeah, at Boutique and the like. You have Countess Mara, you have
Tina Lesser.
Tina Lasser,
That's a
Yeah, that's a
and
new
then
thought.
you have Schiaparelli,
Schiaparelli, yeah.
and many others that were involved. Let me see.
Salvador Dali.
This is a J. Gallet.
Oh yeah.
They were all involved in the snob appeal of ties.
And this would be the apex of snob appeal.
Oh yes,
Look at that.
Dolly.
Oh, the Dolly ties. Yeah.
Hello, Dolly.
And another super collectible.
Exactly.
Anything Dolly sells. The story of Dolly is that they approached him to do it, and he was all for it, much to the shock and horror of much of the upper crust art world. But
Right.
they had many problems with him. Many of the tie executives said,
Yes.
well, if he used to submit ties that would have naked women coming out of violins,
Yeah, exactly.
or bleeding skulls coming out of cellos or something,
Right,
and they had to edit the design
You told me not to bring those.
to meet.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
They had to edit the designs to meet
Oh,
to meet a certain demographic.
dude, cool skull.
And you have
Garcia type of thing with it.
you have many things that were popular in the 50s, and iconically, men would wear something that was pink
Oh yeah.
with
Nice gray suit.
with a gray suit, blue suit, even black suit. It would all stand out.
I just did that yesterday.
And
It's a good color.
in the 50s, you had what they labeled this as a French panel tie,
Very nice.
where you have the panel down the center and your pattern running across, interrupted by that panel by the Harvey Brothers feature values.
You did Cash for the Ghost.
And another interesting thing. This is probably 40s, 50s. Is the not planned tie.
Yeah, these are great.
You can take a tie and say this is your neck. You tie it. If you're correctly tying it, let me get it right here. Okay, and you tie it around,
We need the montage music now.
and you get the
It's got to the end.
Yeah. It's okay, we can edit this.
You
you
find it's
get
a bow tie.
the bow tie. It's a bow tie now. No, actually, it comes through, and you have the pattern,
Yeah.
and you have the knot, which is not planned.
Yeah,
Comes up.
I got one like this that's superb.
Very nice.
There you
Your
go.
knot is one pattern, and your tie is another. If you tie it correctly.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Now, that horrible tie and
Still.
pattern.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
the
it's,
cuffs are-
at least you get the
Still.
concept of that.
And that I always look for those because you've got like two kinds of interests going. One, I like the ones where you get stripes at the top and the solid at the bottom, or some such thing like that. Ties that had interest that you don't have today. Some of this is like your Sulca designs with their watered silks, which you look in old catalogs, a tie even like this, say, 50 years ago would be costing you $50.
Incredible.
It's incredibly expensive to have this. So when you run into them, much like you saw Baron and oh, I forget the other gentleman, but they each got like 40 different ties, and some of them included some of the watered silk designs and regular designs. And getting those is incredible to find nowadays. This is a silk as well. It's a watered silk.
Also notice silk and how light,
crazy pattern.
how light and soft it is. But when it gets caught in the wind and blows, those modern day ties are like cardboard.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
It stays like a panel in front of you.
We can show
Exactly.
one of us has.
Yeah, that's one of those things is that the rarity of silk even back then is one of the things
This
that made
is
it
a
expensive.
modern thick tie,
Yeah.
and it's long.
Yeah.
Say if we were to take this 40s tie, put it next to it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the material on the 70s ties, it's like a sweat sock.
Yeah,
compared to
yeah,
like a
sweat
dress
sock,
sock.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just-
Your,
I don't know what
your
they-
length is longer. The material is, well,
That's
It's-
thicker.
yeah,
Yeah.
You guys with multiple fold, 7-fold, whatever fold, and
Yes.
it just makes it so dense and so heavy. And also the silk is usually woven onto a base material that could also be like a silk, but it makes it just 3 times thicker than it should be.
and your interlining is thicker, and
Yeah.
it's of a different material. Before it would be like a thin cotton type,
Yeah.
and
Sort of gauze.
yeah, and it would just give your tie away to easily do it.
The
But I mean,
size of that
tie-
knot.
tying a Windsor on this, it's just incredible. You get a bulky knot that's bigger. That's
Incredible
bigger.
or ridiculous?
Well, it's incredibly ridiculous. It's bigger than your head. I mean, I tied it on this other not planned tie,
Yeah.
but I mean, if I pull it tight
Right.
and get it right, it will be a nice V. While you've got this,
Yeah.
it's a
Well, you
huge
can
difference.
play with the size of your knife. You can have nowadays it's bigger. Back then you'd see the movie stars with pointed collars with a tie hanging out in the middle and the big tie swathing out from that. You can't do that with a modern tie. You got so much material there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if I were to tie this
And
knot
you wrinkle material
In
within the tie.
in a 4-in-hand, which I haven't tied in a very long time.
But you also damage the material within the tie, making it so it's always got those creases after you knot it.
Right.
Vintage ties, they smooth out easier because the material inside, the lining is not.
The
Yeah.
dimple is much. I mean, this is just a 4-in-hand.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
huge. I
But
mean,
not-
I think you've got a 4-in-hand there with a vintage tie. Look at it.
Big difference. You want to turn that way.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
It's it.
But then again, there's about a 35-year gap.
Mhm.
I want to go into segue then, and we're going to go to basically what happened around 1952 or so. Around 1952, you had a look come out called the Mr. T look. It was sponsored by Esquire magazine and also Apparel Arts. And this was a call for men's clothing to become less bulky. Hat brims to become a little bit shorter, lapels to also become narrower, men's trousers not as bulky. Eventually, pleats went away for a while. And this applied also to neckties. And you've got basically a transition model almost right here. This is approximately 3 inches. This would be probably about 1952, 53. That's a nice design. Looks like almost a line of Judah or something like that. And this is pleated, but it's a sort of a cross pleat like that. Or what's the term I'm looking for? Crisscross. Not crisscross, but help me out here.
What the stripes?
Yeah.
Diagonal?
Diagonal, thank you, Professor.
Yeah.
It's diagonal. Yeah. I actually did go to school. Yeah, it's diagonal. And for those of you who are familiar with hay-band ties and how atrocious they are, this is a hay-band. It's actually not that bad for that time. Hay-band produced some mighty good ties when they were back in New Jersey. Okay? Now they get their things from Myanmar, points farther east, etc. But this is a hay-band tie. Well, the point is, ties started to become narrower.